It was 2:03 in the morning when my phone buzzed, face down on the nightstand. I shouldn't have been awake, but I was, lying there in the dark, eyes wide open, listening to the hollow hum of silence that had filled our bedroom for the past few months. I picked up the phone and saw her location pin. I hadn't checked it in weeks. Honestly, I'd forgotten I still had access. But there it was, Romantic Inn 2 miles away. Not her office. Not her friend Marcy's apartment. Not a 24-hour diner or gym. A Romantic Inn. My heart didn't race. That surprised me. There was no cinematic moment, no gut punch, no shattering glass inside my chest. Just a strange stillness, like my body was waiting for instructions. I got out of bed quietly. Her side was cold. She hadn't been home all night. Again, it wasn't like this in the beginning. We were fire and quiet laughter, late-night takeout, and slow dances in the kitchen. I remember the first time I saw her cry, not out of sadness, but from laughter, some stupid joke I'd told at a gas station on our road trip to Maine. Her mascara streaked down her cheeks, and she just let it happen, mascara and all, because she felt safe. She used to look at me like I was her home. Now, she hardly looked at me at all. I sat on the edge of the bed for a long time, phone in hand, staring at that little red pin on the map. I zoomed in. Room 12. The Romantic Inn had a reputation. Everyone in town knew what it was. Fake names, cash payments, no questions asked. A place where promises quietly died. I could have gone there. I could have driven the 1.5 miles, walked up to that room, knocked once, or kicked the door open if I had to, and found out what I already knew. But I didn't. Instead, I did something I never thought I'd do. I opened our text thread and typed, "You okay?" No question mark. Just those 2 words. It sat there for a second, then disappeared. Delivered. Read. No reply. That was answer enough. It hadn't always been this way. The first time she mentioned him, "James," she said with a casual smile. We were sitting on our porch, sharing a blanket and a bottle of wine. "He's like a brother to me," she said. "We just click." I nodded, even smiled. I was the trusting type. Or maybe I just wanted to be. I believed in friendship, in boundaries, in the idea that 2 people could care about each other platonically. But I also believed her eyes. And there was something in them. A flicker, a pause too long. The kind of hesitation that tells the truth louder than words ever can. James became a name I learned to hate in silence. He texted often. I saw his name light up her phone during dinner, on the couch. Once even during a movie we both claimed to love, but barely watched. She laughed at his jokes with a brightness I hadn't seen from her in months. I asked once, gently, "Do you ever feel like you talk to him more than me?" She didn't look up from her phone. "He's just easy to talk to." I said nothing. Because what could I say? That I missed the way she used to lay her head on my shoulder without asking? That I could feel her leaving me, molecule by molecule, every time she smiled at her screen? You don't bring things like that up when you're trying to save what's already drowning. You just hold your breath and hope the tide shifts. But it never did. 3 weeks before the Romantic Inn ping, I noticed she'd changed her passcode. No conversation, no warning. Just one day, the usual 4-digit code stopped working. I asked about it. She said it was for security. I didn't ask whose. Then came the late nights. "Work's been crazy," she said. "James and I are brainstorming a side project. Nothing big. A side project. With someone she once said was like a brother." I remember sitting at the kitchen table that night, watching her slip on perfume. Not a strong scent. Just enough to be noticed if you were close. Too close for a brother. "You smell nice," I said. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Thanks." I watched her walk out the door, the perfume trailing behind her like a ghost. I didn't follow. I just sat there, hands wrapped around a mug of coffee I didn't even want, waiting for the warmth to come back. It never did. So when my phone buzzed at 2:03 a.m. and showed that location, I didn't feel rage. I felt confirmation. The kind of confirmation that doesn't scream or break dishes. It just exhales. Long, slow. Final. It's strange. When betrayal becomes real, your body doesn't collapse the way you expect it to. It hardens. It prepares. Like it already knew. And maybe mine did. Because the next morning, I packed a bag. Not everything, just enough. A few shirts, the passport, the old Polaroid she once said she loved. I took the dog, left the keys, and then I walked away. Not because I didn't love her, but because she stopped letting me. The morning after I left, I parked my car on the side of an empty road just outside of town, turned off the engine, and sat there in silence, listening to the tick of the cooling engine. There's something about silence right after a storm. It's not peaceful. It's too quiet. Like the world is holding its breath, waiting to see what you'll do next. I hadn't cried. Not once. Not during the packing. Not while I watched her location pulse at that damn inn. Not even when I slipped my wedding ring into the glove compartment and shut it like I was sealing off a chapter one never meant to write. But as I sat there, watching the sun rise over the fog-drenched trees, something gave. I didn't sob. I just leaked. A tear rolled down, unexpected and silent. Then another, until they were just falling, unannounced, each one saying what I couldn't. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I couldn't go back. The truth is, it wasn't just about that night at the romantic inn. It never is. Infidelity doesn't arrive all at once. It creeps in, quietly. Starts with an inside joke you're not part of. A look held just a beat too long. A new password. A lie so small it almost sounds like love. And I missed it. Or maybe I didn't miss it. Maybe I just didn't want to see it. There's a kind of self-betrayal that comes before someone cheats on you. It's the part where you stop asking questions because you're afraid of the answers. I'd been living in that space for months. So I did something I'd been avoiding for a long time. I opened her old laptop, the one she stopped using 6 months ago. She said it was too slow. Just buy me a new one, she'd smiled. I did. It still had her email logged in. I wish I could say I was surprised by what I found. I wasn't. James. Hundreds of messages. Not just from the past few weeks, but stretching back over a year. I scrolled through them with a detached kind of clarity, like I was reading a story someone else had lived. Her words felt foreign. Her tone, familiar, but not for me. In one email, she called him her mirror. Said he saw her in ways I never could. Said she felt alive around him. I read that line 3 times. I didn't throw the laptop. I didn't curse her name. I just sat back, breath shallow, staring at a woman I no longer recognized. Or maybe one I never really knew. She wrote about our marriage like it was a phase. Something she outgrew. He's good, she wrote about me. But I feel like I'm playing house. With James, it's different. Real. I closed the laptop gently, as if the version of her inside it might wake up and speak. It was strange. I wasn't angry. Not in the way I thought I'd be. I wasn't even heartbroken anymore. What I felt was smaller than that. Emptier. I felt erased. Like I'd been walking beside her all these years and somehow left no footprints. Later that afternoon, I got a text from her. Hey, where are you? No apology. No explanation. Just that. I didn't reply. 2 hours passed. Another ping. I woke up and you were just gone. Can we talk? Still no mention of the inn. Still no I'm sorry. Just her reaching out like nothing had happened. I scrolled back through our texts, reading the ones I'd ignored. I noticed a pattern. Her reaching out only when she needed something. A favor. A bailout. A reminder that I was still there, still orbiting her life like a moon around a planet that had long stopped caring. She didn't miss me. She missed the version of me that made her life easier. That night, I checked her location again. She was home. Alone. I imagined her walking into the house, seeing the half-empty closet, the empty leash hook, the note I'd left on the kitchen counter. It wasn't poetic. Just one sentence. You don't have to explain. I already saw where you were. I turned off location sharing after that. Not out of anger, but because some things shouldn't be watched anymore. Some ties need scissors, not knots. Over the next few days, the texts kept coming. Can we talk? It's not what you think. You're being unfair. At least give me a chance to explain. But there's a strange kind of power in silence. It doesn't beg. It doesn't accuse. It just exists. And it forces the other person to sit in the space they created. I spent those days driving. Through small towns, along coastlines, stopping in cheap motels with stained carpets and vending machines that barely worked. I didn't need comfort. I needed distance. One night, 3 days after I left, she finally called. I let it ring. Once. Twice. 10 times. Then I picked up. But I didn't say anything. Just let the line breathe. She started softly. I don't know what you saw, but... I hung up. Not to be cruel, but because I finally realized something. When someone has to explain why they were at a romantic inn at 2 a.m., the moment they have to reach for an excuse, it's already over. And I was done pretending it wasn't. 2 weeks after I left, she showed up at my sister's door. I was crashing in the spare bedroom. No plans, no destination, just a kind of drifting survival. My sister, bless her, never asked for details. She just handed me a spare key, pointed to the fridge, and said, "Whatever it is, you're safe here." Then, that Saturday morning, there was a knock at the door. I knew it was her before I saw her. Some part of you always knows when a storm is standing on your porch. She looked smaller, hair tied back, eyes tired, hoodie too big for her frame. No makeup, no ring, just her, or what was left of her. "I just want to talk," she said. I didn't say anything. I just stepped aside. She walked in like someone visiting the ashes of a burned-down house, careful not to step on memories. She sat on the edge of the couch, hands folded like a student waiting for detention to start. "It wasn't what you think," she said finally. Her voice was quiet, like it was apologizing for existing. I sat across from her, arms crossed, breathing steady. "Then help me understand," I said. She blinked. That threw her off. She was expecting anger, maybe accusations. But I'd already walked through that fire. Now I just wanted the truth, or the closest thing to it she could give. "I did stay at the inn," she said. "But it wasn't supposed to mean anything." She paused, looked at the floor. "I felt invisible," she said. "You were always so good, so constant." And I started resenting the very thing that kept me safe. I let those words hang in the air, resenting the thing that kept her safe. Like someone cursing the roof over their head for not being the sun. "Why him?" I asked. She shrugged, eyes glassy. "James made me feel seen. Not because he was better, just because he was present. He asked me how I was. He listened." I wanted to laugh. Not out of cruelty, out of the sheer absurdity. I'd spent years listening, years holding space for her dreams, her fears, her silence. But she only started noticing attention when it came from someone new. And I saw it then, clearer than I ever had. She wasn't looking for love. She was looking for a mirror. And when I stopped reflecting the version of herself she wanted to see, she found someone else who did. "That's not love. That's vanity." She cried. Not loudly, just quiet tears slipping down her cheek, wiping them away like they offended her. "I never stopped loving you," she said. And that's when I knew I couldn't go back. Because love that walks into a motel room with someone else and then says, "I never stopped loving you," isn't love. It's a ghost, a haunting. And I wasn't going to spend my life living with a ghost of what we once were. So I told her the truth. "I believe you loved me," I said. "I even believe you still do, in some way. But love isn't supposed to be a mystery I have to solve at 2 a.m. She nodded, lips trembling. "I was lost. I was right there," I said, my voice quieter now. "And you still got lost." She asked if there was a way back. I looked at her for a long time. And for a second, just one, I saw the girl I married. The one with the wind in her hair on that trip to Bar Harbor. The one who cried when we lost our first baby. The one who made pancakes at midnight just because I'd had a bad day. But she was buried. Deep. And I didn't come here to dig. "No," I said gently. "There's no way back. But I hope you find your way forward." She left without another word. No dramatic ending. No final embrace. Just a door clicking shut behind her. That was the last time I saw her. Sometimes, late at night, I still reach for her in my sleep. Not out of longing, but out of habit. And that might be the saddest part. Realizing how long you can live in muscle memory, even after the heart has moved on. She said he was like a brother. But her location said romantic inn. And at 2 a.m., when truth finally showed up in the shape of a red pin on a map, so did I. Not to chase her, but to find myself again. And I did.